today you're going to see a small adult-led group. It's going to be a group of reception-age children, and they're working within the 40 to 60 month age bracket, which is taken from Development Matters. You will see a small group activity where they will be comparing quantities, and they'll be using that language of more and fewer to compare the amounts that they have. Right, today we're going to have a little bit of a picnic. Do you want to have a picnic?
Yeah!
Yes! So we're going to use some special words today. I'm going to have a go at saying them first. So could you say more?
More.
And then there's another one which you might find a little bit tricky, which is fewer.
Huh?
Can you say that?
Fewer.
Fewer. Do we know what fewer means?
No.
In this activity, I would like them to learn the importance of that accurate counting, especially their one-to-one correspondence. I would also like the children to learn the concept of more and fewer, what it means, and also to be able to use that language of more and fewer. Well, if we have more of something than somebody else. We have more things. And if we have fewer, it means we don't have as many. Okay? So, I've got my owl and my little bear, and I want them to have a little picnic. So you'll see a range of resources. We're very practical in the foundation stage, so we're going to be having a picnic, so you'll be seeing tomatoes and raisins so that they can practically share them out and talk about the amounts. As we move from the concrete to the abstract, you'll also see number cards, and then you may see some children getting number lines to support them in finding how many more. So I've got some tomatoes, and I'm going to give some to the owl. Oh. Those ones for the owl, and then I'm going to give some to the bear. Just have a little look. They're not the same amount, are they? Somebody's got more and somebody's got fewer. Have a look. Who do you think's got more?
Owl.
The owl's got more, which means the bear has, what's that word?
Fewer.
Fewer. Well done, Mark. But how could we check? What could we do to check?
We can count them.
We can count them. So you're going to help me count as I point, Elliot. Ready? So some of the misconceptions which may occur, just making sure that they have accurate counting, because some children might go quite quickly and not actually use that one-to-one correspondence as they count. Another misconception is that children naturally would say smaller or less rather than fewer, so you'll probably see me repeating the language of fewer, as that's not as natural for them to say.
11, 12.
12. So our owl, he has 12. So let's check for our bear. Oh, should we check to count? Should we count to check? 1,
2, 3, 4.
4. So you were right. So the owl has more and the bear has
4.
This time, should we do it so that the people with the red plates have got more and the blue plates have got fewer? Can we do that? Off you go then. The red plates have got more and the blue plates have got fewer. Okay, so just have a look. And how are we going to check? What could we do?
Count.
Count them. So Mark, should we start with you?
1, 2, 3.
Well done. And Melissa, how many have you got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So has she got more?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mark's got fewer. Well done. So for the children that get the activity really quickly, they will be moved further by being introduced to numbers and team numbers, which they'll be able to recognise and immediately say whether they're more and fewer. If they get that, then we'll move them even further by getting them to say how many more and counting on. They may do that in their head, or they may use fingers for that. I've got one more thing I want you to do, and it's a little game to finish off our picnic. Do you want to play?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes? So, you can't turn them over yet. I'm going to give each pair 2 cards. So not turning them over, I'm just going to put them in the middle here. turn them over and they're going to have two numbers. And I want to have a real big think which number is more and which one is fewer with your partner. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Right, turn them over then. Which is more?
5, 2. 5, 2. 5, 2. 5, 2. 5, 2. No, I have 6. You got
3.
I got 6.
Let's have a look. So you got more and you got fewer. Right, let's check then.
9.
So Melissa and Mark, they had number 5 and number 2. So which number is more?
5.
5. Well done. So which number is fewer?
Comparison a number, or saying how two numbers are different to each other or the same as each other, is a really important part in building an understanding of number value. The first step in being able to compare a set is to be able to discern the value of each item in that set. So if children have two sets of items that they want to compare together, they need to know how many is in each set before they're able to say whether one is more or fewer than the other. So in order for children to be able to do that, they need to be able to accurately count the number of objects there in the first place, and then be able to then attribute that count to a numeral as well, whether they're using that in terms of saying the number name or being able to read the numeral from a piece of paper or a flashcard that's been shown. So discerning the value of the set is a key skill in being able to compare them. And actually underpinning this is an understanding of children being able to count accurately. So if they can't count, they're not able to be able to then compare which set has more or fewer than another. The other thing that children need to be able to do is understand the meaning of the words more, fewer, same, less, different, equal to, so that they have an understanding of that vocabulary and can then use it to talk about the things they have in front of them. Then they'll also need to be able to understand that value that's attributed to the number. So when you're using concrete resources, that becomes very apparent, but also an understanding then later on that 5 has a higher value than 3, and being able to then compare those together. In the video you saw Holly using a range of manipulators to engage children in this learning. So you could use food or everyday classroom objects, items around the space that you have. And children are then able to use those to support their comparison, both by making sure they've got an accurate count, we're using one-to-one correspondence as they count across, but also being able to perhaps even line the two amounts up together. So you line up your 4 teddy bears, I will line up my 5, and see my line is longer. So I have more than you have fewer teddy bears than me. And using those concrete resources really helps to support children's understanding of comparison. So in this video we use the same group of children to film a range of different activities, just to show the scope of things that you could do with your children. But I think it's important that you make sure that when you're comparing sets with your children that you don't move too quickly from the concrete to the abstract, and ensure that those children really understand the value of each number before you start to apply those abstract principles. Children are naturally competitive beings, and they'll always want to compare what they have with what a friend has. And teachers can really capitalise on this by asking questions such as, how many do you have? Do you have the same as your friend or more? And this, we know, will lead to discussions around sharing and those sorts of concepts about trying to make things equal, or if you give away some, you'd have less then, or fewer, and you can bring that vocabulary in a really organic way. There are some resources which beg to be shared. For example, card games are a great way when you deal out and ensure that you have the same, because the game will not work if one has more cards than another. So it's another way of reinforcing this vocabulary. When children realise that their set is more than another's, or they're on the receiving end of a set which has fewer than a friend, it then builds on some of that precursors to sharing work. So currently we have unequal sets where one has more and one has fewer, but if we want our sets to be equal, how can we share those? And actually this then leads to early division and sharing work.